Thanks for joining us for Khari Free at Last on Bounce 23 TV. I'm Khari Naharo. Black mob violence is being reported in cities like Baltimore, Philadelphia, Chicago, New York, and Columbus, Ohio. Is this so-called black mob violence a major social uprising, a crime spree, or much to do about nothing? Conservative media, have they created this as a sensation? Joining me is TalkTainmentRadio.com host Irv Jallo, Charles Traylor, and the Reverend John Coates. Black mob violence. Charles, you've talked about this before. Yes. Is this just a conservative media creation, or is there really something to it?
Well, there's something to it, and the first thing I would point out that is just not germane to black mob violence. There's white mob violence as well, and to paint a picture that is all about black youth running around just committing this type of violence. We've seen this type of violence throughout our communities, suburbs, inner city.
Oh, wait a minute. You tell me black mobs, young black men are not running crazy and beating up the knockout game? Pow! Come on.
Or they're playing the knockout game, but they're not the only ones playing it.
Well, who else is playing it besides black youth, Reverend Coates?
White youth who ride skateboards and have baseball caps worn backwards.
You're just practicing escapism.
But mob violence tends to take on different titles at different times. Just a few years ago, we were talking about the attacks on the homosexual community, on the gay community. Just happening sporadically. So, you know, this isn't new at all.
What, Trailer? What?
It just underscores.
You're from Y-Town.
Yes.
And from that Detroit area and all those areas, you guys know about this.
It underscores that if you don't give young people something to do, they will figure out something else to do, and it's most always going to be mischief. You have to give them guidance and direction. Young people don't have jobs. Young people don't have any expectations of them to do anything in life, and so when you put that together and with poverty, you get...
Oh, wait a minute. Now, you're a big-time Democrat. Mr. President Obama come here and said we were going to have change. Oh, we was going to give young black folks jobs. We're going to take care of it. How can you talk like George Bush is in office?
Well, first of all, change has not come to the African-American community.
Thank you.
Oh. Oh, Irv, did you hear what he said?
I heard him.
I don't believe it.
Say it one more time.
All right.
One more time.
We're going to revoke his credentials. Irv, what do you think?
I think that the lack of role models plays a huge part. These young men don't have, a lot of them don't have fathers. They don't have anybody to look up to.
What is a role model? I get so sick of that term. What is a role model?
Somebody that is in your life that can guide you, that can give you the advice that you need, that can keep it real with you, that can help you along this journey of your life, because this isn't easy, especially knowing that these teenagers, they're bored. They have a mind of their own. They need a man to look up to.
They do have men to look up to. They have Lil Wayne. They have...
wait.
They have Jay-Z.
Fabulous. No.
You know.
Not those. I'm talking about like a strong man, a grandfather who is good with his hands, who has that wisdom, that knowledge to impart upon these young men. We need
Most
those
of them out in the
brothers.
street don't have skills.
But by the same time...
They don't have skills. They can't fix anything. They can't do anything. So
but they can be taught.
They're almost a group that almost is being discarded. Is that what you're saying, Charles?
Well, no, what I'm saying is this, is that we're not offering any excuse for their behavior, because they should be prosecuted, you know, for the things that they're doing. But we also need to provide some guidance and some mentorship for these young men so that, you know, they'll understand that they're operating without a moral compass right now.
Are you saying that the fathers are responsible for this? Fathers not in the home?
Well,
is that the problem?
It goes back to the broken...
We're going to blame it on the mother again?
It goes back to the broken family.
We're going to blame it on the black woman again?
We're not blaming it on her, but it goes back to the broken family syndrome that we have in our country.
What do you mean?
Well, young boys being raised in their homes without a father, there's something missing. There's a void of that social development for that young man. And so when that man is not there, a lot of these young men are taking upon themselves to protect themselves in their community.
A young black man out of control, Reverend?
Yes, young black men are out of control.
What do you mean?
But we have, well, you said through acts of violence, through just their mental state.
Should they be locked up?
Something is wrong with us when we're walking down the streets with our pants hanging off of our behinds. It's a psychosis.
Oh, we're wearing hoodies with
Something's wrong.
shorts on.
Exactly. So
In
you
the
know,
wintertime.
something is wrong, and we shouldn't put the cart before the horse in saying that they should necessarily be locked up. But maybe if they enter into a system, not necessarily the judicial system, but a system that we establish within our community where we can actually get engaged in the process of saving our youth.
Jallo, is something wrong with young black men?
You know, something's wrong with all of us.
I ain't asked you that question. Is something wrong with young black
Yeah,
men?
absolutely they are. First of all, we have to start in the homes. A lot of times when I'll tell y'all what I see, when I see parents out there
All right, I
smacking
tell
their
you
sons
what, you know, point them
upside
out,
the head,
knock
we got a
them out.
problem.
Up next on Khari, Free at Last. Welcome back to Khari, Free at Last. A game called Point 'em Out, Knock 'em Out. Consists of someone being randomly attacked while teenagers film themselves punching the unsuspecting victim and putting it on the internet for amusement. Whoa. Joining me is TalkTamerRadio.com host Earth Jallo Charles Trailer. I like that name, Trailer, not Taylor. And the Reverend John Coates. Point 'em out, knock 'em out. Is that what you getting ready to do to me, Earth?
Well, you know, I thought about it.
That's
but
what
no,
Coach told me.
I wouldn't do it.
Yes, you
but
would.
you know, we really must look at this. How many of these young people, and I keep saying this over and over again, are taking, you know, ADHD meds and ADD meds? How many of these young people come from broken homes? How many of these young people cannot read? How many of these young people just want to impress their friends?
Charles, how long are we gonna make excuses?
Well, you know,
wait a minute, how long are we gonna make excuses for the behavior of our children, Charles?
Well, I don't make excuses for their behavior.
right.
I offer up, you know, reasons, you know, of why they act this way. And a lot of it is Khari, that these young men in particular, they are operating without a conscience, and something happened in their life where...
Charles, that's deep. That's deep. What do you mean without a conscience and something happened? Some trauma?
Without a conscience, a lot of times hurt people
Hurt people.
hurt other people. And that's what these young men are doing now. But guess what? There's been some justice with this knockout, because there's some folks that have gone to vigilante justice, and they have turned the tables on some of these young men. But I just hope that, you know, through all
Now,
of this...
you know what the conservative media is saying? Conservative media is saying these are black mob attacks on white folks. That's what they're pushing.
Well, that is the concern.
That's what they're
and
pushing.
I think that's why we're hearing it not just in conservative media, but in general media across the board. You know, there's not that many conservative media outlets. The reality is there's more liberal media outlets. And so you're saying that one media outlet that claims to be fair and balanced outweighs 5 additional media outlets that are openly liberal.
The conservative media outlet, Charles, is pushing this as a race thing. Is it?
What you just heard was talking points, you know, from the Republican Party. You know,
now you want to get knocked out.
the conservative media is only bringing us out because white people have been getting knocked out.
Yeah, Jewish.
Jewish people have been getting knocked out. When black boys knock out black folks every day in our community,
it's not a concern.
It's not a concern. So it's only a concern because now it's happening outside of their community.
So is it racially driven? Or is it just gotten out of control because nobody stopped it?
The concern is that there is stand your ground legislation that is being presented in states across this country.
So this gives justification.
So it gives justification to stand your ground legislation. And for the record, I support stand your ground legislation. There's a problem with stand your ground legislation.
Charles Trailer.
But I should not have to turn my back from my cell while he's attacking me.
Knock him out.
Why should you have to retreat from one that's trying to attack you?
How many more killings has to happen in this country before the conservatives get a conscience about death?
Come on.
Absolutely.
Say it again, son.
You know, how many more times do people have to get killed before conservatives have a conscience about
You have
death?
no conscience.
Well, the fact of the matter is that the homicide rate in this country over the last 10 years has decreased significantly. Nearly 4,000 less people in a 10-year period have died
But the
in the black
lockup
community.
rate has increased.
Yes,
there
it
are
has.
more black people in jail now than ever. And now they're trying to sell this. Your media
Yes.
is trying to sell this as a race war.
And I definitely want to say that it is not a race war. I went and saw some videos, and it's all of the young folks. It ain't
Exactly.
not just
All of
black
them, yep,
black
exactly.
children. It's white children. It's Asian children. It's
Well,
all
what
over the
they're
board.
saying is that white people are being attacked by black mobs.
What they're
And what-
That's
showing.
what they're saying.
That's what they're
And
showing.
they're trying to frame it
Yes.
as just a black on white
And it's
crime.
not.
Is this the Turner Diaries trying to come to life?
Hey.
Is that what we're looking at, Reverend
The
Coates?
Turner what?
The Turner Diaries? You know what I'm talking
You know what
about.
he's talking about.
The Turner Diaries.
William
So
Pierce.
Well, I think it very well may be, and for those of you that are unfamiliar with it, Google it, the Turner Diaries, so you can get the information for yourself. It very well may be. The problem with Stand Your Ground legislation is that it doesn't prosecute the same way for black people that it prosecutes for white people.
Well, that's because the
Okay.
laws were never made for you in the first
Exactly.
place.
So what they're doing, are they escalating white fear in this country?
Yes.
All of a sudden, you're looking at
That's right.
Obama as this black
Yeah,
devil
yeah.
in the White House, and
They're
then you got
escalating-
people
they're
upset.
escalating-
Is that what they're doing?
They're escalating white fear, but I think that we need to understand why these young men have taken to the streets to. They're crying out. They're at least trying to get attention to some deeper issues that's going on in their
Like
lives.
what? What's going on in their
There's a lot of
lives?
psychological issues going on with. It's uncommon to walk down the street and just hit somebody without no provocation.
Yeah.
It could be gang initiation. It could be a lot of things. But we need to find out what is the root cause.
But what's
of this
going
violence.
on? You're in the schools. What's going on in their lives that causes them to reach this point?
Well, I can tell you this, a lot of hurt. A lot of hurt, a lot of abandonment, a lot of stuff. Kids have so many scars on their heart that it's very hard for you to see that little child that used to be a real pure heart child.
So we come back to the parents again?
No, well, yeah,
Yeah, we
come
do.
back
Black parents
we come
abandon
back-
their children?
No, we come back to all of the things that has happened to these kids, and they grow up to be 13 and 14 years of age, and now we have monsters.
Oh,
Our
you so
children are
smooth.
conditioned.
You didn't answer
Our
the question.
children- Our children
Wait,
are-
hold on for a minute. Have black parents abandoned their children?
No, they haven't. No,
Have they,
haven't.
Irv?
I think it's a 50-50 down the line, and I think a
Oh,
lot of them
White-Town
have.
disagrees,
I
finally.
think a lot of them have. I mean, I'm in the schools as well, and I hear these stories about these babies tell me about mothers who give their daughters to their boyfriends, about mothers who miss.
Whoa,
Yes,
whoa, whoa,
absolutely.
whoa. What did you say about
Mothers who give their daughters to their boyfriends. This is a real issue with us, and we have to start dealing with what we have to deal with within the African American community, within our homes.
But that
These
can't be
things
a
have to be talked about.
But that can't be a broad brush paint.
No,
on
it's not
all
a
of them.
broad brush. I'm not saying all of them, but you all know who I'm talking about. Your children
It's a little
are
brush.
hurting,
Yeah, it's a
and
little
it is a lot of our children. A lot of our children are being sexually violated, male and female. So
In
we
the
have
home.
to, yes, most sexual violations is done by either a family member or someone close to that family.
Trailer, are you in the schools? Are you seeing this?
I'm not saying this. She's talking about some deep, dark, secrets.
Deep
with
dark?
the-
What you mean
Yeah.
deep dark?
Deep
You know,
dark
In the
secrets
African
of the
better than
family.
say deep dark.
community, which is a whole other show.
Which is a whole nother shout. But that we're talking about the hurt of these children.
Exactly.
We're talking about neglect. We're talking about parents who have given the children away. Children have missed that nurturing in their life.
Right.
We're talking about students whose parents are on drugs, who have to fend and care for their little brothers and sisters. These children are hurting.
And see, and the society doesn't want us to care about these kids
Absolutely.
because they're already showing them these kids inflicting violence on
But
somebody
we don't
else.
have to, I don't care what society wants. We don't have to abuse our children.
We
Exactly.
don't.
We don't have to neglect them. We don't have to do.
Why
we
are
don't
we
have to do-
doing it, Charles?
Well, you know what? There's a lot of factors that go into why a young mother of 16 or 17 years of age, who didn't
Turns her
bond,
child over to somebody.
turns the child over, or who
Wow.
didn't bond with their child, and go through a lot of
I tell you what,
postpartum issues.
we're going to get into more of that. Racially motivated violence, up next on Khari, Free at Last. Is the knockout game and other acts of hostility racially motivated black mob violence against whites? Or is it just trendy antisocial behavior? Joining me is TalkTainmentRadio.com host Irv Jallo, Charles Traylor, and the Reverend John Coates. You like the way I rolled that R, didn't you?
trendy antisocial behavior. That's
Yeah.
cute. That's cute.
I know it's cute.
That's real. That's real. That's real.
about as cute as that tie you
That's
got
real.
on.
Oh, well, thank you. You got cute tie.
Yeah, orange tie. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. You know,
But you clean.
Oh, you're cleaner. You're cleaner.
I know.
You're in pen shape. Yeah, I know you know. That's the problem, see.
That's right.
Hilarious.
But that's why you'll get knocked out.
Point them out, knock them out. But is it trendy? Is it just something that young people do? Because they make up these games
We
all
say
the time.
trendy, but we have to look at the conditioning that our young people is getting. Look at video games. There's a popular video game called Vice City where you can ride down the street, stop, and indiscriminately kill someone or actually knock them out. This game has been in existence for nearly 10 years now.
But is racial hatred at the bottom line of any
Well, you
of
know,
this?
I think it's one of the factors, because let's just face it, a lot of young African Americans, you know, feel that society just turned its back on them. They hear people talk about them, you know, all the time.
In 2013, 2014?
Yeah. So to some degree, it's racially motivated violence, you know, by the individual. And
But
it's
Charles,
also,
you
and it's
got a
also-
black president.
And yeah,
All right, wait a
that
minute. You got a
anything.
black man running the country. How could it be in 2014, 2013, 2014? How could we have a race problem?
Well, you know what? If you go by the statement that the RNC made yesterday, racism ended with Rosa Parks.
Oh, yeah, Rosa Parks.
Well,
So out of the loop. So out of
Reverend
the
Coach, you need to get busy.
She sat down, so you know.
That's right. But no, it is racially motivated by the individual personality and attitude toward other people.
But
Wait a minute. Do whites and blacks hate each other?
Some.
some, not all.
How bad is it?
It's bad.
What do you mean it's bad?
When I go online and I'm seeing these tragedies in the news, and then I see the response to different, you know, to them, it's really,
this is
really
a
bad.
post-racial state,
No,
Reverend Coach?
we live in a racially charged society.
Oh, no, we don't.
Yes, we
No.
yes, we
Where's
do.
your evidence?
Oh, well, I travel for one.
Well, what-
And
that ain't good enough. Where's your evidence? Give me some
we-
points.
Well, first of all, you had the commission that studied the relationships between blacks and whites. First of all, I can point to the church. I'm a pastor. 11 o'clock Sunday morning is still America's most segregated hour.
Still. In 20.
Yeah.
So Charles Traylor, how much has changed in the relationships between blacks and whites?
Well,
Are we almost where we were?
If you put it in the context of, you know, a glass half full or glass half empty, then I would say the glass is half empty.
Meaning not much has changed.
Not much has changed.
Good gracious sakes.
Because nothing has been done to regulate attitudes.
So the economic condition, we all know, and you said it, Charles, and you said it, Reverend, you said it, Irv. The economic condition of the black family is at probably one of the lowest, worst states it's been probably since the Great Depression. And yet nobody is addressing this issue. Am I correct or incorrect?
Yeah, you're correct. Nobody in all of the years that President Obama has been president, poverty in the black community has not even been
But
on the
poverty
radar.
In
doesn't
fact, food stamp. In fact, somebody in the White House just said the other day, food stamps stimulate the economy. My God.
Poverty doesn't look the same way in the United States that it looks elsewhere.
What do you mean?
Okay, well, if you go to Jamaica or to Africa or other places, you'll see people literally living in 10 huts and shacks and
I'm
what
here
have
to
you.
tell you, Reverend Coates, that 101 million people are on food aid in this country right now. That means 1/3 of the nation is on food stamps or some kind of food aid. 150 million are low income or live in extreme poverty in this country.
Well, like I tell my congregation, 30
Right
days.
now.
30
Right.
days.
Charles Traylor, right now.
And every
30 days.
urban school in this country, 97% of the kids are on free and reduced lunch.
Yep.
And
In
your
every
thir-
urban
and
school.
your 30
Urban's a code for black. So
and you're
Right.
30 days from losing everything you have.
Well,
you're 30 days from being evicted.
Yeah.
You're 30 days from losing your cell phone. You're 30 days from losing your car.
Well, we
We're 30
say.
days. Most people are living from paycheck
One-
to
So
From
paycheck.
young
paycheck to the
black
next.
children then are rebelling against the system of oppression as they see it. Is that
Absolutely.
right? Is
Absolutely.
that system oppressing them?
It
Irv
is
Jallow?
oppressing them. When
In
you
what
see
way?
your parents going to work at a job that they hate, and they tell you they hate it, that you see how
But they
stressed
got a
they
job.
are. But who wants to do that?
And
You told all your life, go to school, get a good education, get a job. How does that help your community? How does that help you as an entrepreneur? What are you doing? You're going right back into the system of
Charles
white
Traylor,
supremacy.
is anger driving this? And
You know,
what is the
anger-
substance of that anger?
Anger is the fuel that's driving all this what's wrong with these kids, with these young people. They go to school, they're the first ones suspended, you know, from school. They're not given opportunity to really succeed in education. They can't go get a job, so they're out on the streets. So what are they going to do out on the streets? They're in the wilderness.
And the music says get a Glock in your hand. The music says knock somebody. I mean, the music is violent,
The music
man.
the music is violent and
the culture that creates that violent culture.
And disrespectful.
Oh, very.
And it's not just anger, but it's the frustration that leads to the anger.
And this knockout game, the message that these young boys are sending is, America, look at me. Look at me.
Is a knockout game one of the products that racism produces, Reverend Coates?
I believe it's one of the products. Racism produces a lot of products, but it very well may be one of the products. But we need to understand that our entire society, white and black, is being conditioned to rebel against so-called mob violence. And I think that's why we're seeing so many...
What do you mean?
Well,
What do you mean
I think that's why we're seeing
understand.
so many zombie shows on TV. The Walking Dead, walking down the street, and what zombies do is they feed on other people. They attack them. They attack them. And the only way you can get a zombie, kill it, is to shoot it or something, you know, blow its head off.
2 taps to the head.
And you got all these soldiers training for urban warfare, as they call it. Something's up, you're right.
Before we label this racially motivated violence, I think we need to do like we do everything else, study it. Study it more to see if there is a pattern that says this is racially motivated violence. Then we have to deal with it as a country.
Oh,
I
my
did
God.
want to throw...
Civil War in America, up next on Khari, Free at Last. Welcome back to Khari, Free at Last. Is black mob violence an indication that America is headed for a civil war, predicted by Carl Rowan's The Coming Race War in America, or William Pierce's The Turner Diaries? Woo! Joining me is TalkTainmentRadio.com host, I love that woo, Earth Jallow, Charles Traylor, and Reverend John Coates. Civil War. All we hear now, they got the red states, they got the blue states, so they're setting up the psychology for a civil war in this country. Is that where we're headed?
Well,
with
I do
all
know
this?
that's the third time you've mentioned Turner Diaries, okay, for one.
Yes,
but
because that's very significant.
Look, the real civil war that's going to take place in this country, if a civil war takes place, won't be black against white. It will be white against white. It will be white people rebelling against the establishment. We see two extreme ends. You have young white students, the Wall Street, that's the opposition, and then you have groups like the
Tea Party.
Like the Tea Party is very conservative. You know, these groups meet together on the backside of the tree, if you will. That's where the revolution will take place.
So blackface is up front of being used to stimulate it, but that's not really what it's about?
Well, here's my take. The Civil War started in 2008 when Barack Obama was elected president. We just come in late to the Civil War.
How did the Civil War start with Barack Obama?
Well, when the Republicans made the announcement that they're going to do everything they can to make sure that this president does not succeed.
Oh, come on,
And then
come
the Tea
on,
Party
Tom.
was born. Then the Tea Party was born. You got the Bachmans,
Is the Tea Party a racist party?
Yes.
Oh, is it, John?
The Tea Party
Yes, it
was
is.
born in the process of the election.
You're not answering the question. Is the Tea Party a racist
no,
party?
The Tea Party is not a racist party. That is a label.
They just don't- they just don't have hoods
That's a
on.
talking. That's a talking point.
They just don't have hoods on.
It's another talking point. It's a
Trailer
liberal
says
talking
it's a
point.
racist party.
They don't oppose anything white. They oppose everything that's black.
But wait a minute, white folks voted for Barack Obama? So I get tired of talking about, a lot of black folks say,
but the Tea Party
white folks
did.
don't want him in there. They put him in there. What are you talking about?
Racist white folks didn't vote for him.
What do you mean? How do you know?
'Cause-
Was you at the polling place?
Now we know where all them ballots went.
You know, Mr. Snowden, don't you know?
But Earth, Jallow, are we headed for a civil war?
You know, I don't think we're gonna see a civil war in our time. I think that right now.
Charles Traylor said we already in it.
There should be an economic war.
Well, the economic war, but there is a war on young black men.
Oh, whoa.
I think that's
Perpetuated by
gonna-
who?
Perpetuated by the system. I
What
think,
system?
The system of white supremacy. Come on, we talk about this all the time.
That's a
Absolutely, I do.
scapegoat,
Oh,
don't
no,
you think,
come on.
Reverend Coates?
I heard
Come
the
on.
spirit of Neely Fuller. Where
Is it real?
Where
Is it real
Oh,
what
well,
you're saying?
Most
You know?
white people are affected by white supremacy. Black people are affected.
Absolutely.
Everyone's affected by that system. But we're in no condition to rebel, unfortunately. we're the weak of the weak.
We
The
have-
rebellion
we have
takes
no
place
power.
from the white community.
So, Charles Traylor, what did we do about this black mob violence?
What we do about the black mob violence, we address it as a community, and we send a very strong message that this is not representative of who we are.
What
as
do
a
we
people.
say? What words do we need to say? Say them now.
We need to say to our young men, whatever's going on in your life, whatever is bothering you, whatever has caused you to get to this point where you feel like the only thing you can do is lash out at other people who are not really your intended victims of your anger and your frustration. Let's sit down,
Let's
young
sit
brothers.
down. Let's work it out.
Let's
Earth
work it
Dollar,
out.
what do we say to the parents?
I say to the parents, if you don't have a male in the home, get a role model, an uncle, a good friend, a grandfather, somebody that can help your young man become a man.
In 10 seconds, Reverend Coates, what do we say?
Raise your own children. Be responsible for your own children.
Oh, come on. That's conservative. Lord,
before
take
society,
responsibility for your own life.
Well,
Yes.
Mr.
You sound like
Obama,
Newt
Mr.
Gingrich.
Obama went to Pentecostal church in Chicago on a Father's Day and had the audacity to give that same message, but it was accepted.
Well, he tries to be like Ronald Reagan.
Mr. President,
Thanks to Talk Team
Rush Brought-
Thanks to TalkTeamRadio.com host Earth Dollar, Charles Traylor, and Reverend Coates. And thank you for listening.
Somebody
watching
go ahead and knock him
Khari
out.
Free at Last.
Please.